Good evening, everyone, and welcome to regular board meeting, Board of Education, 2061. It's Monday, April 11th, 2016. We have a roll call, Ms. Sabrina.
Okay, Simmons? Carroll? Here. Marks? Present. Ford? Here. Huckabee? Here. Paredes?
Here, and quorum is present. First up on the agenda, we have 8th grade girls volleyball team. Dr. Duster.
Thank you. Then Mr. Naminsky, please come forward. As well as Mr. Brozinski. To a couple things. I know we have some nice hardware from the state. And tonight, the both of you will be presenting our 8th grade and 7th grade girls volleyball team. 8th grade will be first. Parents, I want to thank you very much for everything. Thanks for being here today. We also have Science Olympia. We are going to be celebrating their successes as well. So thank you in advance before you leave after recognition if you choose to go. With that being said.
Well, we'd like to congratulate our 8th grade girls volleyball team. They are the first, I'll call it, team sport, even though track has done very well, to finish 3rd place in the state of Illinois. They came back in the quarterfinals, down 1-0 to win 2-1 against a team that finished, I believe it was second or third, thank you, Mr. Thompson, in the state as 7th graders. Ran a little gas in the semis, but again, lost the first game and the 3rd place game, and then just basically easily won the next two to finish 3rd. So just a fantastic season all year. I'd like Mr. Thompson, please come up and introduce. Introduce the 8th grade volleyball team.
Oh, sure.
We're going to ask you to come up as you're introduced. We'll shake hands, go around the board, and then you want to take a picture of Mr. Naminsky.
Where they at? I can't see them.
We'll take a picture.
We'll take pictures.
Shake hands and you can take out and we'll go out.
I'm looking for 8. Okay, Allison Farrell. Leah Sidbury. Eleanor Ryan. Kayla Lindy. Oh, Destiny Johnson.
Mr. Freitas. On the floor?
Oh, no, that's
No, what it was.
that's this guy.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Wait, I'll get out of the picture so I don't break a camera or something here. Yeah, all the cameras are over here. Those smiling faces. Okay. Let's give one more round of applause. Please step to the hallway and we'll get some of those official team pictures. No, I am. And that includes you, Mr. Johnson.
Go ahead and take the trophy out.
I've never look outside. Look outside.
All right, now to be outdone by 8th grade, we also had our 7th grade girls volleyball team travel downstate. Our 7th grade girls volleyball team was an interesting study this year. They started off the season a little bit of rough shape, took a couple losses early, really kind of regrouped mid-season, and then just went on a really massive tear at the end. We had a rookie coach, Miss Brianna Turek, who guided those girls through those early stages, took them downstate where they did lose in the quarterfinals, but we are equally as proud of our 7th grade girls as we are of our 8th grade girls. If we could give them a round of applause.
Girls, if you want to come up. Let's see, we got Peyton, I'll make you guys in break. Jane Backus. Alexia Pugh. Lauren Lagarde. Kate Nelson. And Faith Lee.
Coach, can we shake your hand?
Oh, yes, sorry.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, yes. Thank you. All right.
As they clear up, I got Mr. Kennedy come up, and if you would please introduce our coach for Science Olympiad, I would really appreciate it. Some outstanding achievements made in there as well.
Yes, I'd be happy to. We've been very fortunate this year to celebrate a lot of our athletic accomplishments, but lately we've been able to flex some of our academic muscle as well with our chess team, and now most recently with our Science Olympiad team. There were a number of coaches that helped prepare our students for competition, and we have the Science Olympiad coordinator here, Ms. Rorda, so I'll have her come up.
Thank you for acknowledging our kids. They work so hard throughout, from November through the competition in April, and then the day of the competition, they have to get up and be at Parker at 5:45 to drive all the way down to where the actual competition's held, because there isn't one closer to us. So we go all the way down to, this year we went to Oakland Community College, so it's it's a day long. It's a lot of fun for the kids, it's a lot of work for the kids. So they worked their butts off this year, so we're really proud of them. I'm going to call them up, and if they earned a medal at the competition, I'm going to say what medal they earned as well. So I'll start with Nicholas Amu. Calvin Clark. Charlie Matheson. Noel O. Eric Piros, who earned a 3rd place for invasive species. Anna Wooten, who earned a 3rd place for Reach for the Stars. Grace Awisusi. Samuel who earned 2 medals. He earned a 3rd place for Bioprocess Lab and a 3rd place for Rhodes Scholar. Winston Doss, who on his own earned earned a third place for his building of his elastic launch glider. Janelle Speaks and Jada Washington, who earned second place for Picture This. And Tyrone Williams. Okay, I think I got them all. My amazing kids, so thank you.
Excellent job, thank you.
Ms. Morgan, can we have a picture with you?
Oh, absolutely. Can we squeeze in, guys? Maybe we pretend we like each other or something? Okay, go ahead, photobomb it. Oh, we have some of the Samuel and Tyrone and Janelle go in front, so we can squeeze everybody in. Go behind them. Yeah, smile quick. I will acknowledge Mr. Youngquist is here. He was one of our coaches. So. Okay, we're taking a picture in the hall, guys.
In the hallway, yeah.
Next on the agenda, we have audience comments. Comments may be made by visitors at this time regarding items not on the agenda. As of now, we have one parent, that is Michelle Nelson. Mrs. Nelson?
Might have
Anyway, thanks so much for having audience comments tonight. A couple months ago, as you know, the Gifted Children District took up-level testing, ACT for, I think it's 6th grade on up, and new maths testing, I think was for 3rd through 5th grade. At the time when my 7th grade daughter was taking the test, she said, well, why do I have to take this? And I said, well, because all of the gifted kids, all of the high achievers at Parker Junior High School are being asked to take it so that they can look at the gifted program. And she said, Mom, why am I not in the gifted program? What are you talking about? And I said, okay, that's kind of a problem that she is signed up for this test and she didn't even know she was in the gifted program because it doesn't exist. So a couple of weeks ago, we got our scores, and there's a whole cadre of things under each of the students' scores, saying what they could use or what they could do to improve their score. And in looking at the long list of things below each student, I didn't see how that fit into the existing curriculum. So I'm here to ask what is being done with the results of the test scores, and how are we going to use that to make our curriculum better moving forward so that we can serve that part of the population and help them grow. Because right now I'm seeing a lot of stagnation in that section of the population, and I'm just getting exhausted as a parent trying to do it all myself. So I appreciate maybe some feedback and comments on that.
Ms. Nelson, what we'll do is we'll get back to you in a call right now. We're going through all the information. We're actually doing an audit on our program to assist with Northwestern that's in. And they're supposed to have a report to the district sometime in May. They're hoping the early part, so we have that information, and we'll start giving that information out to our parents as well. And that will assist with recommendations to the board about the program.
Do you think that we will be able to get something set up for the next school year? Because I hate to see another school year go by.
That's our hope with the recommendations, but we have to take that information to the board. And I don't know what that information is right now.
Okay.
But, yeah.
There's a whole group of parents that would love to help. If you need help to get things moving and going, there's a whole group of parents that would love to help to make sure things are implemented and better for next year. Like I said, my seventh grade, I had no idea there was a gifted program, which it's not. So I thought it was kind of interesting feedback coming off of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next on the agenda, we have the superintendent's report. Dr. Duster?
Thank you. I have several things, to be exact. First one is the dashboard. All of you have had an opportunity to look at that. If we want to flash that up there quick, we are stable at this point. Down a little bit from last year. It's been a little bit of some fluctuation with it, but for the most part, we're staying fairly stable. Next thing on my agenda is Staff Appreciation Week. I want to let the board know that between May 2nd and May 6th is it's Staff Appreciation Week, and we will be having a continental breakfast for all of our staff throughout that week. So what we do for that is send out a note and thanking them for everything that they do, and we greatly appreciate their work, and then we give them some type of breakfast. So. The next thing is the recognition tea. That will be May 25th, and it'll start at 4 o'clock, and it's Wiley's Grill. There's, at this point, we have a letter that we've given to the staff, and that's something that we will address. And that's signed before we just have the board. If you want to stop by the schools and say hello to everyone, you're more than welcome to do that. Yep. And that is May 2nd through the 6th. Recognition tea. This is for Ms. Horth, Ms. Huckabee, especially. Every year we have a recognition, and we recognize our tenured staff, our staff that will be retiring, etc. And it's at Wiley's Grill, and we like to have as many board members there as we can. And what will happen, the rest of the board knows this too, everyone is definitely invited, but there will be a presentation given by our board president. People come up and they get awarded. We have hors d'oeuvres there, and then we sit there and we talk a little bit for a couple hours, and it's a celebration for our staff. So if you can make it, please do, as well as the rest of the board. Next, the Heather Hill Principal Update. We went out for another search, as the board knows, and we will be having interviews for the candidates on Wednesday, and then we'll be bringing in the community group on Monday for interviews. So there are 2 people on the board that will be participating in that. Please be here at 8 o'clock. We plan on having a recommendation to the Board of Education at a special board meeting after the COW meeting on April 25th for the new principal. Kindergarten registration took place last week. Did a real nice job as far as participation. We had several of our students that were there and they were signing up, so we're pleased with that. And as soon as we have more numbers, I will report those out to the Board of Education. But it's looking good so far. Next will be the National Junior Honor Society, which will be May 16th at 6:30 p.m. at Parker. We invite the entire board to be there as well. That activity takes about an hour, and then afterwards there's cookies and lunch and things of that nature. So we'd ask you to come to that. The next one is a strategic plan report out. Remember last year when we met on that? We told the community that we would have a report out. I have gone through a ton of dates on where they are, and I am throwing this date out to the Board of Education right now, which is June 15th, 2016. It'll probably be around a 6:30 meeting. How that will be structured will be that we will invite all of the people who participated to come. And then we'll invite other community members as well who would like to be there to learn what happened. I will give a brief presentation of our working document that we put together from our original goals and focus areas. We're more specific on how we're going to address that over the next 5 years. I'll give that presentation to the board. Each one of the people that were leaders in those focus group areas, they will be going back and they'll be discussing where we are, and we'll be getting input, etc. We'll collect together again, and probably in this room, and we will have a discussion as a whole so everybody hears what each group has stated, and that will be our report out and what we plan on doing next year in regards to the strategic plan. So the 15th is a date that I'm hoping that all of you can attend. You're good? Please mark it.
Right now, right now.
Yes. Will that work for?
Which, day of the week is that?
I think it's a Wednesday. And the major reason why the 15th is because our Dr. Madonia will be able to come back on that date as well.
Okay.
Will we be doing these report outs every year?
Every year. Can you make it? You can. Ms. Hartley, can you make it?
Yes.
Mr. Simmons?
Our calendar isn't
Okay. Ms. Marks? Okay. Mr. Bruce, you said you could.
I believe so.
Keep marching forward on it. And then next, Mr. Simmons, you can get back to me, I appreciate it. Next is park. We started park testing, and one of the questions, last year it was our first test on park that we had, and there's some questions, and there's this, what's going on is someone coined the phrase opt out of the park. There's no such thing as an opt-out of the park. So as a school district, what we have to do is we have to place the test in front of the child. And the child can refuse it at that time. If they do, we just leave the test there, and then we have them there to quietly read. That is what has been dictated to us by the state of Illinois. So what has happened so far, we've had about 6 to 10 calls so far as a refusal to take that test. And some of what is going on is some parents' excuses where they've been tested too much, they don't want to do it, they don't see the significance of it, and that's why the refusal is taking place. But when those test scores come back or the results come back, you have to know that some of these students that have taken the test may have assisted with some of the scores on them. So I want to make that clear at this point. Second of all, another item that's going on is that there's discussion at the high school level that you only have, that we only want, the high schools only want the students to take one national test, one national norm test. And that national norm test that high schools focus on in the past was ACT, now it's the SAT. So the park, there's a lot of high schools throughout the state that are telling people to focus on that SAT instead of the park. So there's going to be a lot of refusals you'll see in the news about the park test not being taken in high school. So with that being noted, if there's siblings, there's a conclusion we can come with. There's siblings at the high school level, those parents and siblings, if they don't want to take it at the high school level, there may be a refusal at the junior high and elementary level because of that. Yes.
Just some more questions around that. So we've taken the national test before, and for that, we have other things we've taken in the past. What makes this different than the other, or did we have the same issue with parents wanting, refusing, saying they've been tested too much? So that's one part there. And then what might be the unintended consequences or implications for the student, the parents are aware of that, if there is any, and then also to the district, you know, just kind of our scores, as you mentioned, that might impact our scores, so.
Yeah,
it's
it
got
could.
three questions in there.
Right, the first question is, we have two tests. We take the MAP 3 times a year to measure. That is the most consistent test that we have in our school district, so we continue to use that. We brought that to the board probably 4 years ago, I think now, but everything was up and down. ISATs, they were doing cut scores, they were bringing the park in, so what we did is we wanted to know that what is consistent is that MAP score. Now, the concern that's out there with our administration and our teachers is that the Common Core is fully aligned with the Illinois Learning Standards to that park test. The MAP tests are not 100% aligned to the Common Core. Okay? So there's confusion there with the teachers, and they want to know what should we do? Should we focus on this park test, or should we focus on the MAP test? That's a difficult decision not only we face, but the rest of the state who's taking MAP or STAR or whatever other national tests are taking at that point, because last year was the first year. We won't get a grasp on that for a couple more years, I wouldn't think. It is our hope that this park test would take the place of the MAP test. So that's the first answer.
Let me take this question up on that, because one of the things we talked about before, you made it very clear that, you know, we don't teach to test, we teach to teach, and we work with the kids to bring them up. So when you say focus on the MAP test and focus on the park, what do you?
Yeah, as far as our measurement stick goes,
Okay.
we know that MAP is more consistent on where we need to drive instruction. And we're inconsistent with the park right now.
Okay.
And the second question
What
was
the
the
implication, if there's any implication to a student for not taking this park, if there are any unintended consequences, do we communicate with that with parents? Is it, well, it really isn't, or, you know, what happens?
What we do with the parents, we communicate through an email. We like to give them a call that your child did not take this test. The state tells us that we have to take this test. We put it in front of them, and there's a refusal. And what I just explained earlier to you. Implications of that is our overall scores.
To not to the student, but to our district, overall scores. Okay. Because it goes in as a zero. Okay.
Yes.
So does it impact funding in any way?
If there's a certain percentage that do not take it in the school, then that could affect. We're not at that point.
Is there a message less of a stick, but more of a carrot to say, this is why we encourage them to take this test? These are some of the benefits of taking the test. Because, you know, we can get, obviously, a snowball effect. What, there's no implication to my child, and that's just more testing. So, is there, have we talked about that as a plan?
We have been discussing that. What can we do? There's not been a lot of guidance from the state on that, and that's something that we're addressing as well with our strategic plan. But I don't have any answer for you. Any other questions? Okay, that is all that I have.
Okay, next up on the agenda, we have some consent agenda items. We have executive session meetings, February 8th, 2016, regular Board of Education meeting, March 14th, 2016, executive session meeting, March 14th, 2016, and special board meeting, March 15th, 2016. We also have FOIA requests. I will entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda items as presented.
Make a motion to accept this, presented.
You ready? Mrs. Brito, we have a roll call.
Okay, Huckabee,
Yes.
Simmons,
Yes.
Marks,
I have a question about this agenda, just on the There was a correction that needs to be made, I wanted to be sure it was made. But I correct it, and I have it pulled up.
You want to go back?
I'm just pretty told me to be made, so I'm just not seeing it on my,
mm-hmm,
so So that's.
It was for the 14th, and,
Yeah.
yeah, Harold's name was on 2 spots. It was also, it was on the yay, and then it was also an absent, and it was removed from the absent part.
Okay, so it's just not updated. Okay, perfect. I'm sorry about that, yes.
Okay, Horth,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes, the motion is passed. Next on the agenda, we have several action items, information action items. First, we have the approval of bills. This month's bills were thoroughly examined by Mr. Simmons.
I move that we approve the bills as presented at a total of $689,489.83.
I second that. We roll on the
Carol,
Yes.
Simmons.
Yes.
Hello. Hi, this is Marks. We're in the middle of the board meeting. You ready to join us? What's your name?
Sure.
I'm sorry.
This is Timmy.
Timmy, I'm sorry. I was doing roll call, trying to do 2 things. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, I'm here.
Mrs. Marks, okay. Mrs. Horth?
Yes.
Okay. Mrs. Huckabee?
Yes.
Mr. Briggs?
Yes, and the motion is passed.
Okay.
Next on the agenda, we have approval of payroll. I will entertain a motion to approve payroll in the amount of $1,335,977.23 for the month of March as presented. Mrs. Huckabee,
Second.
second, Mrs. Horn. We have a roll call, Mrs. Bruno?
Okay, Marks?
Yes.
Odom?
Yeah.
Okay. Simmons?
Yes.
Huckabee?
Yes.
Horth?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
Briggs?
Yes, and the motion is passed. Next on the agenda, we have the approval of reemployment of first, second, and third year probation. Oh, I'm so sorry. You're right. Next on the agenda, we have the approval of the transportation bids. I will call for a motion to award the pupil transportation bid to Cook Illinois Corporation, Page Bus Enterprises, as the lowest responsible bidder for the 2016-17, 2017-18, and 2018-19 school years. Mrs. Harold's first. Do I have a second? Second, Mrs. Huckabee. Is there any discussion?
Can you just briefly remind me, please, why you went out for a second bid? What exactly was wrong with the first?
The first bid was misinterpreted by a company. They brought it to our attention, and it was about piggybacking. Okay. So if you're at a junior high route, does that route mean that's one route for the elementary and the junior high? Or is that one route for the junior high and one route for the elementary? What we did, that was the question that came up. What we did is we went out again to clarify that. And with the bids that came in, with that change that was brought to us, there's going to be a savings of $991,611 over our current person, our current company. So it's quite the savings.
So when we went out for bids
Been a couple years ago.
did we have the same issue with interpretation? I mean,
No.
I'm assuming we issued pretty much the same notice.
The districts issued the same notice, the same type for as far as I can go back.
For some reason,
There's an interpretation came up, we clarified it, and ended up assisting our school district tremendously.
and then one last question. Is this the bus company that came before the board last month?
No.
And can I just clarify that?
As far as what? The person who spoke?
The person who spoke?
No,
It wasn't, that,
that wasn't.
that's not Page Bus there, that was another.
It was Page Bus who the recommendation, we pulled it, but that was the original. And then another company came to speak on it and what their interpretation was, so we went out for bid again.
And did that company submit a bid?
Can I just clarify that we are saving $79,431.50 a year more than before we changed the start time? Can you elaborate on?
That's what it's about $80,000. The bids are $80,000 less than what they were before we started the change times.
Okay, so that's an improvement over 2 years ago.
It's an improvement, plus it's another $330,000 savings each year over the current company that we have.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
this
great news.
was excellent.
Yeah, that's really fantastic.
Did they submit a bid a couple of years ago? I'm trying to figure out why it's so significantly.
Because of the piggyback issue.
So do you recall the page submitted a bid? a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
And they were inviting, obviously. I mean, these savings just seem pretty significant.
Very significant.
They'll probably be compromised, right? We need the same apples to apples.
We're very pleased. We checked all references. They're meeting with us when school starts with our staff, and we're pleased. It's the same company as what Homewood uses.
What will Fran do with all these savings?
I'm pretty sure we're gonna, you've seen Senate Bill 231.
Yeah, don't worry.
Let's keep it positive.
Great job.
All right, that it?
Any further comments, discussion, questions?
We actually have John Banish Jr. here. Do you have any questions you would like to ask of him?
No, I'd just also like to introduce PJ Lewis.
From Page Bus.
From Page Bus. So we're happy to get the contract, we're excited. Actually, back in the day, we did it for a long, long time, the Homewood and the Floss Mart under Kicker, which actually celebrated their 100th anniversary this year in business. Actually, Kicker was the Floss Mart's kid. I'm a Heather Hill graduate, and also went to Jesus as a child, and grew up here most of my life, so very familiar with the area. So we're excited to be here.
We welcome you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wait, I do have a question.
Sure.
So I am very curious as to every single year at the beginning of the school year, especially I've experienced a few different bus companies over the past 13 years of me living here. And it seems like we're always slow to get on track at the beginning of the school year. Sometimes it takes several weeks, sometimes it takes several months with bus drivers learning the routes and where to drop off kids. Can you just tell me what the process will be to, how do you prepare your drivers for day one?
Sure. No, good question. You know, the last couple of years have been really difficult trying to find and retain drivers. That's probably the number one. And that's throughout not only the Chicagoland area, but the Midwest of the Chicagoland area. The hard part with the big bus, regular ed corner to corner, is unfortunately, you know, this time of year is a great time of year. All the drivers know where they're going. Everybody's great. Everybody knows exactly. And then it stops. And then all the children get out for the summer, and we really don't have school. And then again, we have to start in the fall. So it is a process where what we try to do is consistency really is the key. We'll have a bid day at the beginning of the school for our drivers. They'll come in and pick the route. They'll become familiar with it. We usually suggest doing a dry run in their car, and of course doing a couple dry runs in the bus, and then we'll actually have a day that we'll go ahead and coordinate with the district, where we'll have what we call a live rehearsal day. We'll actually drive the routes with the buses, not picking up the students that day, but actually have a dress rehearsal with actually going around there. So the more preparation you can do, the better. I would also suggest at the beginning that we can come up with the routes to how they're going to be, and that we go ahead and keep those routes exactly the same for the first 3 weeks of school. That helps with the times going back and forth, adding, delete. If there's a student that's not signed up for a specific route, we suggest that they go ahead and still keep the routes the same, because the drivers know the routes, they know the timing, you want to be on time for the first couple weeks of school is very important. But anybody that's not on the route, they just watch when does this mean stop. And that way, that really keeps with the consistency. So we like the same bus, the same driver, the same route every day. And consistency is the key to the whole situation. Keeping the routes exactly the same the first week, And what we tell the drivers is to make sure that they go to the bus stop no matter what, in exactly the same route, exactly the same order every day, whether they're students at that corner or not. Again, that's the consistency feature to make sure that they're doing the same route. But unfortunately, I wish school actually went all year round and all summer. That way we can keep more drivers and they know the routes, but it kind of doesn't work that way. But that's a great question, and that's the hardest part about my job.
That's a topic of conversation every year at my superintendent meetings. The first week.
We do active recruiting too, and have been doing it all year long, and will continue to do it throughout the summer. And I'm not short of beating people to get them to be on time, so that was a joke. Thank you.
Thank you for clarifying. Well, I certainly look forward to our contract with your company. It sounds like this is a great pairing, and I look forward to certainly savings and continued excellent service.
And that was a good point about the savings, and that's really what happens, and that's a piggyback issue. When a lot of school districts, what happens when they do change times, the way that really the school bus contractor can do it is everybody has kind of a time slot. Once somebody changes their time either early or later, and takes that slot, that's when things become more expensive. So the bus for your district will go probably to another school. They'll do a grade school and a junior high. But after they're done with junior high in the morning, they might go to another school. So if we can piggyback in other districts that are close, that takes that price and chops it up in 4 or 5 different ways. Therefore, everybody gets a savings. Somebody in that middle of that time block goes to a different time, that's when everything changes, and then somebody's almost paying really almost double. And that's kind of what happens with the times. But in addition to that, your buses will have cameras on them, just to let you guys know, because all the buses are already equipped with cameras. And then, which is no extra charge, but it's required. And then also to GPS, which is kind of a new hot feature in the school bus business. All the buses do have GPS, and we can give you the codes for that. So I can go back and look at yesterday, tomorrow, I can look at last November, and you can see exactly what the bus did, where it went, what time and where it was at. So that's a nice feature, the district will have that. Yes, sir.
In the future, would there be a consideration for a phone app where parents could get like a 10-minute warning that the bus is coming near?
Sure, and I'd be happy to show you that. There's actually about 3 new ones that just came out this year. They're pretty inexpensive, and yes, they're absolutely out there. Actually, you can watch the bus go through the route and get a notification if your bus is going to be late.
That's great. So could we do that in our district?
Sure.
That's fantastic. I'm sure that's something that parents would be interested in, especially in the wee hours of the morning in winter, as kids wait for that bus.
No, and it's a nice feature for us too, because instead of getting inundated with phone calls, as we normally do, if we're going to get a snowy day, we'd like to get the message out and do everything through a text and actually do the phone calls. It's quicker.
Fantastic.
We don't call school here.
No. They usually call us first because the schools aren't open.
Right.
That's right. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Move the roll call, Mrs. Brino.
Okay. Simmons,
Yes.
Odom,
Mrs. Odom?
Yeah. She's saying yes to the vote.
Are you saying yes to the vote or acknowledging these?
I'm saying yes to the vote.
Thank you.
Okay. Carol,
Yes.
Marks,
Yes.
Warren,
Yes.
Huckabee,
Yes.
Paredes.
Yes, and the motion is passed. Next on the agenda, we have approval of re-employment of first, second, and third year probationary teachers. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the resolution to re-employ the first, second, and third year probationary teachers as presented.
So moved.
Mrs. Huckabee is first.
Second.
Second, Mrs. Porter. Any discussion? Do we roll call, Mrs. Brino?
Okay. Carol,
Yes.
Warren,
Yes.
Huckabee,
Yes.
Odom. Yeah. Simmons,
Yes.
Marks,
Yes.
Paredes.
Yes, and the motion is passed. Next on the agenda, we have approval of reduction in force. I will entertain a motion to approve the resolution to honorably dismiss educational support personnel as presented.
We do fourth year probation.
Oh, my mistake. Prior to that, we have approval of reemployment of tenured fourth-year probationary teachers. Mrs. Huckabee?
Second.
Second, Mrs. Horvath. Any discussion?
Just one thing, this is in education, very, very important among our teaching ranks to achieve tenure. We're very pleased, and they will be recognized at our tea that we're having in May. So this is a great achievement for our staff. None of them are here right now, or else I would have them stand up, but they know they'll be recognized in May.
Following the vote, could you make your names please? Following the vote.
You need it.
Very good.
Of course I would.
Why, thank you.
There we go. Just looked up wrong. All right, Andrea,
Call the vote.
B.
Mrs. Brito, can we roll call?
Okay. Fourth,
Yes.
Odom,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Marks,
Yes, with pleasure.
Simmons,
Yes.
Huckabee,
Yes.
Paredes.
Yes, and the motion has passed. Dr. Lots of buttons. Dr. Duster, could you?
Yes. Andrea Beatty, Joseph Crispinelli, Christina Frimpong, Caitlin Tobin, Elizabeth Buctadine, I always mess her name up, I apologize. And then the last is Elaine Wingert. So, round of applause.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have approval of reduction in force. I will entertain a motion to approve the resolution to honorably dismiss educational support personnel as presented. Mrs. Harrell? Do I have a second?
I second.
Mrs. Orth, a second. Any discussion?
I have a question.
Sure.
Can you remind me why we are doing this? Does it have to do with funding, enrollment? Why?
This could be, for example, if we had an aide paraprofessional for a one-to-one student, and that one-to-one student is graduating and moving on. So what we do is we have an honorable dismissal, and the IEPs and annual reviews are being done, and what happens as soon as we have a spot, then we call them up for recall and bring them back. But we have to go through this process, or else if we don't, they could work here. Next year, we may not have a student for them. It's an annual process.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Do we have a roll call, Mrs. Brito?
Okay, Odom,
Yeah.
Carroll,
Yes.
Huckabee,
Yes.
Simmons,
Yes.
Marks,
Yes.
Horvath,
Yes.
Paredes.
Yes, and the motion is passed. Next on the agenda, we have executive session.
There was one other thing, business before that?
Oh, is there any new business? Yes.
Yes, and I don't know where to place this or if you have to bring that into consideration, but there was a gentleman who spoke with us about the baseball and softball questions or concerns with, and I don't know if anybody got back to him, but I thought that because of where we were with the league and how much baseball and softball truly does impact our community, and that interaction with our assistants, and then it's been a struggle now. And I don't know where that conversation goes, but I just believe that, or ask that you put back on or for discussion, or if you had discussion.
Yeah, I spoke with Ken Goff, the president, and he understands where we are, it's been an agreement that has taken place, and he said that he would talk to the gentleman who spoke.
Okay, so he's saying he's not asking for any further support.
That's correct.
Okay. Oh, and there was one other piece that was just brought up today, I'm sorry. The mobile app for the buses, that was something that was brought up several times before, but I thought that I didn't realize that it was something that the district should consider. Is is that something that we would look at? That, so I'm still a little confused on what you just said. It was like, oh, something that the district should look at. And it was something that parents have requested several times before because of safety, because of the weather. And it is something that we could potentially offer. And if it's been looked at and can't, it came up again.
We have to contact him, and that's what we're gonna do. We'll set up some meetings with that bus company. And I think what he meant by purchasing an app, that app may be at the app store, and they have to download it or whatever.
It would be something that we did, not them.
I think they'll give us the information and the code things, but the parents would have to purchase it, I believe, or download it. I don't know, it's the first time we've heard that, so.
Okay. So this is something that we can,
Oh, we'll definitely get out to the parents, yeah, definitely.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any questions?
All right, next on the agenda, we have executive session. We'll be entering into, I will entertain the motion to enter into executive sessions for matters relating to personnel, 5 ILCS 120/2C1, and negotiations, 5 ILCS 120/2C2. Ms. Huckabee? Second, Mrs. Ford. Yes, we're going to be in executive session for a couple hours. If you should stay here. Look forward to seeing you when we get out of executive session. Ms. Curtis, will you roll call?
Okay, Simmons,
Yes.
Carol? Yes. Huckabee? Yes. Oda? Yeah. Marks? Yes. Ford? Yes. Parade?
Yes, motion is passed.
Board, could go out that door